Have you ever tried to find a shortcut for YouTube growth? Well, I found one, and it doubled my monthly views and my subscribers, it blew up my email list, it doubled my program's waitlist in only 30 days, and enabled me to make hundreds of thousands of dollars too. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how this happened, and at the end, I'm going to show you the best way to create your own shortcut too. All right, so to start, you need to understand the plan I set out with in the first place to get this quick win, and why this weird-looking graph matters so much, as they both played a really critical part in this whole thing. So the plan came about because a lot of my clients really struggle for time, and it feels like if someone can make YouTube 10 times faster, then it will change the game forever. And I like the idea of being that someone. So I thought, well, why don't you just try and find new ways to make videos faster to then teach them? So I came up with a challenge to post 2 videos a week for 90 days with the idea that I just try tons of different things on my own channel to see if I could find something that got the best results for our business with the least time and effort. But what's a result? Well, really, the ultimate result would have just been to find an easier, faster way to make videos. But if those videos sucked for growing a business, well, then it's pointless. I'm not going to teach people to do that. It's dumb. The thing is, how can you track if a video is actually growing your business? Well, for this challenge, we decided to rebuild the YouTube Studios 1 to 10 leaderboard. You know, that thing inside the YouTube data that decides your mental state each week. And we turned it into a new leaderboard, which doesn't track views, but instead tracks the amount of link clicks to your sales page and emails driven by your videos. Now, the idea being it would stop me focusing on the wrong metrics that didn't grow the business by very quickly showing me what new videos were performing for my business, meaning I could then, in theory, make faster, better decisions on what to make more of. But we did not stop there. We also built this dashboard. So this dashboard tracks link clicks below every video, conversions to my email, and waitlist signups, as well as views across my entire channel. So I can instantly see if what I'm doing is actually growing the business. And let me just give you a bit of a rundown of how this works. So these 2 lines here, these are conversions and clicks, and this one's views. And as you can see on this example, views went up, but look, conversions sucked, no clicks. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that again. I'll make a change to see if I can get something that builds the business better, and then boom, look, conversions exploded there and views. So this data is just insanely powerful, but there's more because I was also able to see which of the links below every video on my channel got the most clicks and conversions too. So with the ability to track the results that matter all in one place, I was now ready to start planning my first bunch of videos. Now, my dream idea for the shortcut was to come up with a thumbnail and a title and then just hit record with like no planning at all. I mean, admit it. You've thought about making that video too, right? And I realized that the highest value way to do that with very little prep is just doing the thing I do every day that just flows out of my mouth, which is giving feedback on clients' videos and their strategies and their thumbnails and titles. So I thought, well, if I could just film myself doing that, there's no script, there's no planning, and I could make something super high value that's just easy to make and fast and hopefully good for business. So I asked my viewers to submit their channels and their sales funnels with the idea of doing just that. But I needed more than just one idea. This isn't a good test if you only test one thing. So realizing that I've been emailing my list for a while and a ton of value, I thought, well, what are the ones that got the most replies? Just turn them into scripts, meaning 80% of the work was pretty much done for me. For my next shortcut, I then asked myself, well, what's the easiest thing for you to talk about? And the answer became clear, my backstory. But what on earth does that mean? Well, making a video about your backstory is literally where you just sit there and you say, I have this problem and here's how I solved it. You are watching one right now. And it's not that hard to do, right? Because you just say the thing that happened to you. I'm sure we can all probably pull that off, which moved me on to my next idea. And I've been wanting to try this for a while, but you know what? I've been lazy and I was like, there's gonna be so much planning and producing in this. It's gonna be a nightmare. So I just didn't bother. Naughty. The thing is, what did I just do? The thing is, these kinds of videos, if you can pull them off, they can be a complete game changer for a business. So I decided now was the time to try that dream video where all you do is just hit record and talk with no planning at all. So with a few shortcut ideas, I moved on to actually filming the things. Now, if you want to fail on YouTube, the best way to do this is to make a video, then post it, make another, and then post it. Because what happens is you're always going to be in a rush trying to play catch up to just get a video out. And that is the worst thing for your mindset, for video quality, and your mental health. Really, for success, you have to batch produce a bunch of videos in one go, so you are always a few videos ahead of schedule. That stops you making rushed decisions, it reduces the stress, and it saves you a huge amount of time in the long run. So I gave myself a few weeks to get a few videos ahead, with the idea that I then start the challenge here and do 2 a week for 90 days. I planned the thumbnails and the titles, and then I decided I'm going to start with the no planning deep dive first. So I hit record, and I spoke to camera for 50 minutes straight. But after that, I thought to myself, if you just put a bit more effort into this, I think it could be one of the best videos you've ever made. Now, for the challenge, I probably should have just posted it, but I knew I could make it 10 times better if I planned it properly. And really, this was about what will grow the business the fastest way, not what can you just slap up on a channel as fast as you can. That's dumb, it won't work. So with that goal in mind, I spent 3-4 hours just working on the plan a bit more, and then I filmed it without a script, which again, took me another 50 minutes. But this time, as soon as I finished, I walked up to the camera and I clicked delete on the file. I didn't even watch it because I thought, do you know what? You can still do better. This ain't business growth worthy yet, baby. So I hit record again. And then after another hour, I absolutely nailed it. I was like, yes, well done, mate. Anyway, I put the SD card in the laptop, clicked the file, and it had corrupted. So I thought, don't smash anything. Just do it again. Stay calm, which I did. And this time it worked. It was great. But if you do watch that video back, you're going to be like, where's Ed's energy gone? Well, now you know where. The irony was the no effort shortcut deep dive took me 6 hours to film, and I was so exhausted to have a nap afterwards. But then things got even worse. So Greg, my editor, and I, over the years, we've built this editing system together that is just insanely fast. Like, Greg edited 24 videos for me, and he did it in one go, and he sent them all back, and there were 4 like tiny changes that need to be made because we've just fixed so many problems. We're a great team. But when I went to send him this footage, it occurred to me that, well, hang on, everything I usually do is scripted word for word. And that means I just give Greg the file and he edits it. But when you have no script, you kind of waffle and you often over-explain things and you might put things in the wrong order. And it meant that I would have to cut out all the crap and the mistakes myself because Greg's not a YouTube guru, right? So he doesn't know what's bad in terms of content. So I did the edit, which took me like an entire day. Meaning my first shortcut video took me 6 hours to film, wasted a day editing, and every part of me was just going, why are you doing this? Go back to your old way, it's far easier. I decided to move on to the next shortcut video, the roast, which felt so easy to film. Time flew because feedback was just my day job. The thing is, when I finished it, I loaded that into the edit and realized, oh my gosh, this is an hour long again, and it's just full of rambles and tangents and depth that is just way too over the top for most people. So I had to spend another day cutting bits out, trying to make it work, which of course got the voices in my head going, stop doing this, not enough time. But I was like, no, fight the brain, which brought me on to my backstory idea where I just say what happened to me, just like I'm doing right now. And I thought, just write this one. And then Greg just smashed out that edit in no time. So now I had 3 videos batched. I thought, that's enough. Let's start posting them. And I put the deep dive out and oh my gosh, I used to get a lot of comments and love on my old channel Film Booth, but the response to this was insane. The viewers, you guys, you loved it. And look at all of this data on screen. It's been one of my best performing videos ever for growing my business. It blew up my email list to thousands more people. So even though my shortcut idea had failed massively in terms of time, my effort had paid off big time. So I'm glad I made the call to keep refilming it. It was definitely the right decision. But what happened to the next video I posted, the roast? Well, the same thing. Absolutely insane reception, tons of link clicks, tons of conversions. I was blown away that in only 2 videos, I found 2 formats that were growing my business so much and also the channel. Then I put out my fastest to make video, the backstory, and boom, same flipping thing. 3 videos in, all comments unlike I'd not seen for a long time, and my waitlist is now going up and up and up and up. Now, because I had the business data, I thought to myself, well, what do I make next? And well, this is where it got a bit tricky because the best result was the deep dive in terms of growing the business. But it took so long to make, if I started one, I would fail the challenge. I wouldn't be able to post 2 a week. So I asked, well, what's the fastest video from these options to make that's going to grow the business? And with the data available, it was really obviously the roasts. So I thought, we'll batch produce 3 of them in one go, and then let's try turning some old emails into videos to just buy us some time, because they're pretty much written until I can drop another deep dive and a backstory. And hey presto, each roast I did was the same. Look at all those clicks in the first 24 hours on my 1 of 10 board. So I continued like this for a few weeks, trying stuff, posting, reacting to the business data, then planning what I did next, only based on this data, which doubled my waitlist, my signups, drove thousands of people to my email list, because I could just really easily tell what to say and do in my content now to have an impact on the business. Then something totally unexpected happened. I started to get messages from some of my friends saying, "What have you done? You're everywhere at the moment." And I was like, what do you mean? Have you been watching my channel? Like, if you watch one of my videos, YouTube's going to push more. And they were like, "No, I don't watch you anymore." I was like, "Great, thanks." But it turned out loads of old podcasts I'd been on started to resurface. And I was like, this is really weird. Like, a lot of people told me this. So I thought about it, and I recently changed the name of this channel from Creator Booth to Ed Lawrence. And I think what happened was, with all these new views coming in, it kind of associated my new channel name with old content and brought it back to life. But that's when things took a bit of a turn for the worst, and I get a message from my dad, and it says this: "Morning, you seem to be knocking out loads of videos." So I told him, "Yeah, I'm doing this 90-day challenge." And he said, "Well, how do you maintain the stamina?" And I said, "I don't." So watch this. So it's my birthday in a couple of days. I was going to go to a beach club with the lads to celebrate my 39th, but yeah, I've cancelled that. I'm just too tired. Do you know what's mad? The amount of messages I've had, people who are like, "You're posting so much, you're posting so much." I just got a message from James Smith asking if I'm posting every day, which definitely tells you something, right? It's that people notice that you post more. Well, I don't have the stamina. And I was looking forward to my birthday. But worse, I no longer had 3 videos ready to go. In fact, we'd fallen so far behind, we were basically finishing a video about 20 minutes before I uploaded it. But also, it meant I started to get comments like this on a regular basis. Because I was so scatterbrained and tired, I was forgetting end screens, putting in the wrong links. For one of my videos, I was so obsessed with just getting it out. One of the points made no sense, so I just thought, let's just do it, because we've got to keep hitting our posting schedule. And the comments noticed it. And I was like, I need to stop this. It's not good for me. So I messaged Greg and I was like, we'll do the last few videos. I got to get off the hamster wheel. Let's call it a day. We'll just end the 90-day challenge. So I set up to film the final roast and smashed through it. I was like, oh, it was pretty easy. And then I thought, well, I'll prepare the next deep dive. That was kind of easy too. It was no way near the slog of the first one. So I messaged Greg and I was like, "Greg, how would you feel if we didn't stop the 90-day challenge? Can you handle it?" Because he'd been working like crazy too. And he was like, "Yeah, it's easy. I got my systems down now. It's fast." So after 30 days, 2 videos a week, a doubled waitlist, tens of thousands of clicks, thousands of emails, I learned 4 big things from this that are going to help you create your very own shortcut so you don't have to post twice a week like I did to discover it. Now, the first lesson I knew before I started this anyway, and that is that quality is always better than trying to maintain a posting schedule, which gets you stuck on the hamster wheel. The videos that grew my business and the channel, they were the ones I put the effort into, not the filler crap I just threw up as fast as I could. So to get results from your own shortcut, you need to focus on quality, not just posting. Speed does not equal results. Now, the next lesson was that the 1 of 10 ranking board is just the worst thing, not only for your brain, but for your business. The amount of times I looked and I went, "Oh, that video is doing amazing in YouTube." And then I looked in RevTrack and I was like, "Oh, it's not doing very well for my business at all." And also the other way around was mad. Now, sometimes a video does get tons of views and tons of conversions, and that's amazing when that does happen, but a lot of the time it's not necessarily the case. Now, the next lesson is that when I worked out how long the shortcut deep dive and the roasts, the things I didn't plan as much, took me to make versus how long would they have taken if I just written them, I realized there was no difference in time saving at all. No script. What it meant was longer filming and editing time for myself, but if I wrote a script, it meant shorter writing and editing time. So it's kind of a trade-off. And it's weird. I actually think the deep dive took me 15 to 16 hours to make. And if I'd written it, I think it would have taken the same time. But I'm glad I decided not to cut corners there, because that video is a game changer. So what do? Script or don't script? The age-old battle. Well, really just pick one and then just go all in on doing that as often as you can. But for me, it is just an absolute no-brainer, and I'll die on this hill because writing is the most powerful skill in the world. If you get good at it, it's transferable because it impacts your social media, it impacts your sales pages, it impacts your email marketing, and it will just earn you more and grow you everywhere if you master it. But Ed, I'm not natural on camera. If I script, I don't want to use a teleprompter. Yeah, I've heard that before. Nobody is to start. And the final lesson is that the shortcut for YouTube does actually exist, and I found it, and it looks like this. All you have to do is put out quality content, hopefully so good it makes people go, damn, I ain't getting that anywhere else. I'm coming back to this person. But how do you do that in a way that's faster and easier? Well, pay attention to this graph. So that line that's going up is time and energy. And in the start of your YouTube journey, you're going to have to put tons of time and effort into this. But what happens is, as you repeat what works, as you build systems, as you work on formats that you can just do over and over again, you get so much faster at making them. And what that means is the shortcut happens here when you have made a lot of videos and figured out all of the things that I just said. But trying to avoid this pain sum is crazy. I don't think anyone with any level of success has ever avoided it. I technically only have to work an hour or two a day now, but I still do 12-hour days because I want to be the best. And I know I ain't getting there until I smash down much larger pain walls. So that is the decision you have to make. What side of that hump do you want to be on? And if you want to follow a simple step-by-step system that's proven, that you can just practice over and over again, it's the exact one I have used. Just watch this video here and I'll lay it out for you. Oh, it's the deep dive, by the way. And by the way, I'm going to stop posting 2 videos a week now. I'm just going to post when I think I've got something super useful for you. But there might be a few more coming out to start because I've still got a few things I want to pick up.